Yo, welcome back to my channel, or I guess my life journey, restarting at 33, day 6. I know I said yesterday was day 6, but I realized I counted day 0 as day 1. So technically today is day 6, tomorrow will be day 7, the first official week. But yeah, it's been momentous, full of realizations, personal growth, discovery, you know? And I guess let's start with this thing that I've kind of been like debating or like with for the last few days, right? So I did go take a risk and like see Mina yesterday. And initially I was thinking like, oh, it's like very selfish of me to go and do this and it's gonna like overwhelm her and these kind of things, right? But that I'm realizing is not really the case, right? It was fear, and it takes courage to actually speak the truth, right? And be vulnerable. So, really, it would have been selfish of me not to go and speak my truth. And here's the thing, right? So, she called me today and like explained how it stirred up her emotions, which like I had expected, right? And this is the thing. It's not selfish, right? It would have been selfish not to do this because if there were no emotions there, nothing would have got stirred up, right? And the fact that the emotions did get stirred up, it means it was worth taking the risk just so like she knows that like I do care and I do love her and like I also get the clarity of like that she cares and loves me, right? So like yeah, she called me and like I'm still blocked and she told me don't contact me and like I don't want to make this work, etc., right? And the thing that I'm like now I'm finally like calm and like clear enough that like I could hear what she was saying underneath that, right? And like the truth of what she was saying was that she's scared, she's overwhelmed, uh, doesn't want to repeat the same cycles, doesn't want to get hurt, confused, you know? And I didn't defend myself, I didn't chase, I didn't spiral, I kind of just sat in the moment with her. And I think that's the first time that I've ever actually like showed up like that for either of us, you know? And that's why I'm saying that it wasn't really like selfish of me to do this. It was more so like finally letting my truth lead instead of fear, right? And my whole life, I've just been letting fear lead me, which is why I became stuck in life and just stagnant, or like not going after my dreams and my potential. And it's like the fear of my potential and like what it would require for me to become that and like how drastically my life would change if I actually reached my potential. And I think this is one of the other things about this relationship, right? And like all of these like online influencers, like most of them who are talking about like dating and like modern dating are clueless. Like I highly suggest you do not take their advice when it comes to women. And that's just my own 2 cents, um but I'm just saying based on like my experience, right? Like when you have like a good woman in your life, she's literally going to push you and demand that you achieve your potential, right? She's not going to settle for like this weak version of you, especially when she's like seen what you're capable of. And in most times like they can see your potential better than you and like before you even like get a taste of it, right? And because like I was so insecure in myself, I felt like I was being attacked and I took it all the wrong way, I didn't see that like it's coming from care, it's coming from love, it's coming from like wanting to see me succeed, right? And I guess the part of me that was like wounded was also like I'm not worthy of this or like I'm not capable of this to like receive love like this, and like I've been conditioned so much that like love is unreliable and like you can't trust people. So like I'd become so hyper vigilant that like constantly looking for things, right? And then I would become controlling. I would be snooping and like looking for things to validate my own insecurity so that I could like weaponize it against her and then use that as like validation for myself to like leave before I could be abandoned, right? And it's all so fucked up, but like it's crazy like how much your like childhood and like upbringing actually like plays a role in your life. And like if you're ever lucky enough to like meet someone that you have like a soulmate level connection with, you're gonna go through something like this because like all of these things that I didn't want to face in myself, she literally like activated in me and like held a mirror up to me. So like I had to face these things in myself, right? And I think subconsciously that's why like I ended up like leaving or like abandoning her, because like I think it was my subconscious trying to protect both of us because it recognized that like I wasn't in a place where I would have been able to like sustain that relationship and like it would have collapsed under the weight of my own insecurity, which is what happened pretty much, right? And like this is the thing I realized, right? All these people are talking about like how to be in a relationship, how to like be in a marriage and love and all this stuff, but like there's no two people who have the same story, right? So like nobody will ever know what I experienced with this person except for this person, right? And I so like this is kind of what I'm realizing is like so when we met each other, like it was like that, like we attached super fast because I think we like realized like oh this is like a very like soul level connection and it was rare for both of us, right? Like to like find somebody that feels like home, somebody who actually sees you, somebody who understands you, and like these kind of things, right? And then we built our whole relationship on emotion and like the connection was there, the love was there. It's just that like we didn't actually have a foundation, right? So like everything went very fast and then we turned into flames. And then when we broke up, I think uh again it was fear, right? Like I was first of all scared of becoming that person, but then also scared of like being that vulnerable. And then also the fear of being with myself and like my own emptiness, right? So like before I even got into this relationship, I was running from myself and like the emptiness inside of me, but I didn't realize that. And then when we broke up, again, like I wasn't running to her, I was running away from me, myself, right? And then I think both of us like rushed into the reconciliation because we were terrified of losing each other. That's why this time I think like with her blocking me, it was like a blessing in disguise because it forced me to kind of sit with the emptiness. And like this time when I reached out, it wasn't like me needing to reach out or like being in a place where like, I couldn't sit with myself and like it was unbearable and like I didn't realize any of these other like internal things or like voids that I was carrying, right? Whereas now I'm kind of like understanding all of this and like still wanting to kind of see where things go or wanting to be a better person or like wanting to become who she knew I could be, you know? And yeah, that's why like now I've stopped asking people for advice and like I'm just trying to like rely on my own intuition. And then if I get to a point where like I'm still confused and I don't know like what I want to do or like what direction I should go to, I'm just like asking God for guidance and like praying. And like even now, like for the last while since I've like started reconnecting with like faith and like trying to like maintain my prayers, I've been praying for her a lot, like for her peace, her happiness, and like even if it's not with me, right? And I find that that's kind of softening my heart and it's making me more like understanding towards her and compassionate and just yeah, like overall, I think if you find somebody that like you're you love them so much that you find yourself praying for their well-being, like that's a very rare kind of connection, right? So if you do have somebody like that in your life or you ever come across somebody like that in your life, make sure you cherish them and like work on yourself continually. Make sure you're in a place where you can kind of like sustain that and like not hurt them, you know? And it's the thing is like if you do ever come across a person like this, you're gonna go through something like this. Like it's gonna awaken all of these things in you. It's going to activate all of these like hidden traumas and fears you have, and like it's going to either destroy you or it's going to force you to grow and like become the person that you both know you could be, you know? And I I'm glad that I got to the other side of this, you know? Like I really thought this was the whole thing was going to destroy me when I like when it ended, and it did destroy me. I guess it destroyed the old version of me. I feel like I've gone through like an ego death, you know? And yeah, like these kind of relationships, they test you, but like if you can like survive the distance, you end up having a much stronger bond, right? And I think that's the other thing is like even throughout all the chaos, like we were constantly choosing each other, you know? And I really did not intend for this video today to just be talking about like relationships and this kind of stuff. I wanted to talk about like I had a metaphor actually. We'll talk about it now. The metaphor was how like people will have like a new phone or like they'll upgrade their laptop and like they'll update the software on these like tech gadgets, but like they don't upgrade their own life software. So like even now, like I'm realizing so many of these like old patterns and like habits I have, that's like my old operating system. So now that I'm like trying to like be in this new operating system, my cognitive biases, so like the mental shortcuts my brain takes to like make life easier kicks in, and like the old operating system is trying to like reinstall. So I'm catching myself like, oh no, that's the old operating system. Like we don't do that anymore, you know? And it's a journey. It's a huge journey, but I'm super glad that I like left everything I knew and like I've just restarted my life. You know, it's terrifying, but it's also terrifying to stay exactly where you are. You know, so I guess you got to just choose. Like, do you want to let this like fear control you, or do you want to let courage lead the way? You know, and like both are scary. Like it takes that's why they say it takes courage to do something, you know? Like it's about conquering fear. And that's the whole thing. Like people can like fake confidence and you can like you cannot fake courage, right? And a lot of people think I'm like this super confident person and it's all like very curated, right? So like I do come across as confident and I can like pretend to be confident, but like there's so much insecurity inside that like I'm always chasing validation, which is why like I started clipping these videos even though I shouldn't have been clipping it. Like it defeats the whole point of the video, right? And like that's why I'm realizing like I'm gonna have to deactivate all my like social medias like Instagram and stuff, because that whole like Instagram journey that I went on was all purely seeking validation to like fill this like internal like emptiness or like void that I have, or like lack of self-worth created by like my parents in me, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, that's why I'm spending a lot less time online these days. Like, just walking around, I'm writing, I'm reading. I'm just trying to like be off my phone, you know, because I'm realizing now like everyone is so plugged into their phone. Like back, like before, most people would spend majority of their time living in the real world and then like escaping online. Now I think it's like the opposite. Everybody's living in like the digital world, and like it's getting to the point where people are escaping that in the real world, right? It's crazy. So, and like think about it, like if you ever see somebody with a flip phone in like 2025, like you're probably like, what the hell is wrong with this person? But like maybe they're the ones who have everything figured out, right? um because like these little devices, like these phones we're carrying around in our pockets, like they're controlling your decisions, they're influencing your decisions and thoughts, and like you don't even realize it, right? And like you're so plugged in all the time. And I mean that's like another thing, like with like maintaining my prayers on time has helped. Like it forces you to like not be online. And then like I find like I was spending so much time on my phone, like I was just addicted to my phone. And now that I'm saying this, I realize it was probably because I have this like emptiness in me, and I like there's like this desire to like create something, and like while I'm just consuming, I like end up becoming depressed. So that's another key theme in my life is like I need to be creating more than I'm consuming. Otherwise, like I just feel like I have no direction or like purpose in life, you know? But yeah, I guess the key takeaway today is be more mindful, be more intentional, take risks, learn to kind of question everything you do, right? And then sometimes you'll come to a hypothesis or an assumption, but it ends up being wrong. So like don't be afraid to question your own assumptions and hypotheses, you know? And be mindful of who you take advice from and like what they're giving you advice about. And like if that person doesn't have what you want or has never had what you want, don't take their advice. Like, you know what I mean? Take your own advice and like ask God for some advice. There's nobody else who's gonna be able to give you advice. Nobody's lived your life. Nobody knows what you've gone through. So, you know, that's one thing I wish I started doing sooner. Anyways, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for day 7. I'm gonna be doing a 3-day sprint. I guess we'll talk about this before I end the video, just because I have been debating going back to my car sales job, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to do that. At least not right now. I want to like give myself 7 days to actually go all in on my business and see what happens, right? And if in 7 days it doesn't go anywhere and I haven't like made any progress, then yeah, at that point I think I'm gonna reconsider and like add a job just so I have some structure. It's just that like I wanna really like see what I'm made of. You know what I mean? Like I've attempted starting businesses many times. I've never really gone all in, and like this time I want to see like what's the result of all of my like failures and trials and life experience. Like I want to see what I can actually build from scratch, you know? And again, like I'm not worried because if it doesn't work out, like I can go get a job in sales at like car sales. I can go to any dealership. I can like there's so many different things I can do with my skills, you know. So I'm not worried. And like again, like I'm putting all my faith in God. Like I'm I have a clear direction. I know what I want to do. So now it's just like let's execute, you know. But yeah, if you stayed to the end, I appreciate you, and I hope you're enjoying my journey. I'm enjoying it, and looking forward to where it goes. We will see you guys tomorrow for day 7. Peace out.